The young girl in this story was so desperate, so confused, and so scared that she abandoned her newborn baby at a church. She was from a dysfunctional family. Her mother was an abusive alcoholic and drug addict. To get more drugs, Maria's mum allowed a 30-year-old man to have sex with her daughter. She became pregnant, and this is where the story begins. 17-year-old Maria clutched her baby, Anna, close. The night was cold, and the park was almost deserted. The only sounds were the rustling of leaves and the distant hum of traffic. Maria's heart ached as she looked down at her daughter, who was blissfully unaware of the harsh realities surrounding them. She had never imagined her life would take such a turn. Just a year ago, she was a carefree teenager full of dreams and aspirations. Now, every day was a struggle to survive, to provide for her child, and to keep going despite the overwhelming odds. The transformation from a high school student to a mother had been abrupt and jarring, leaving her grappling with responsibilities she was unprepared for. The carefree days of hanging out with friends, attending classes, and dreaming about the future seemed like a distant memory, replaced by sleepless nights and constant worry. Anna cooed, tiny fingers gripping Maria's finger. That small gesture brought a fleeting moment of comfort to Maria. It was in these little moments that she found the strength to carry on. The innocence and purity of her baby were a stark contrast to the turmoil in her own heart. She often wondered what kind of future Anna would have. Would she be able to give her the life she deserved? Or would her life end up just like Maria's? These thoughts haunted Maria day and night, but she knew she had to stay strong for her daughter's sake. The weight of these thoughts was heavy, but the love she felt for Anna was even stronger. Each coo and smile from Anna was a reminder of the joy and innocence that still existed in her world. A world that had otherwise become so complicated and challenging. Maria fought back tears. Her life wasn't supposed to be like this. She had dreams of going to college, traveling the world, and making a difference, but those dreams seemed so distant now, almost like they belonged to someone else. The reality of her situation was harsh and unforgiving. She felt trapped in a cycle of poverty and despair, with no way out. The weight of her responsibilities was suffocating, and there were days when she felt like she couldn't go on. But then she would look at Anna, and she knew she had to keep fighting. The dreams she once held so dear now felt like fragments of a past life, overshadowed by the immediate needs and challenges of motherhood. Yet in the midst of her struggles, Maria found a new kind of strength, one that was born out of necessity and love. She should be in school, hanging out with friends, dreaming of the future. Instead, she watched from the sidelines as her peers moved on with their lives. They were going to prom, applying to colleges, and planning their futures. Maria felt a pang of envy and sadness as she thought about the life she could have had. But she also felt a deep sense of love and responsibility for Anna. She knew that her daughter depended on her, and that gave her a sense of purpose. It wasn't the life she had planned, but it was the life she had now, and she was determined to make the best of it. Watching her friends from a distance, Maria often felt like an outsider, disconnected from the world she once knew. Yet, every time she felt the sting of envy, she reminded herself of the precious gift she had in Anna. Instead, she was alone, scared, and desperate. The nights were the hardest. When the world was quiet and still, her thoughts would race, and the weight of her situation would press down on her. She felt isolated, cut off from the world she once knew. The support she needed was nowhere to be found, and she often felt like she was drowning in her own fears and doubts. But in those dark moments, she would hold Anna close and remind herself that she was not alone. She had her daughter, and that was enough to keep her going. The nights were long and filled with anxiety, but they also provided moments of reflection and resolve. Maria would often find herself whispering promises to Anna, vowing to find a way to make things better, to create a future where they could both thrive. Maria loved Anna more than anything. She was a bright light in Maria's dark world. Every smile, every giggle, every milestone was a reminder of the beauty and joy that still existed in her life. Anna gave her a reason to wake up each morning and face the challenges of the day. She was Maria's anchor, her source of strength and hope. No matter how tough things got, Maria knew that she had to keep going for her daughter's sake. The love she felt for Anna was powerful and unwavering, and it gave her the courage to face whatever came her way. Each day brought new challenges, but also new moments of joy and connection. Maria found solace in the small victories, like Anna's first steps or her infectious laughter, which filled their small world with hope and happiness. But that love wasn't enough. Not anymore. The challenges were mounting, and Maria felt like she was being pulled in a million different directions. She needed help, support, and resources that she simply didn't have. The love she had for Anna was strong, but it couldn't solve all their problems. Maria knew that she needed to find a way to provide a better life for her daughter, but she didn't know where to start. The future seemed uncertain and frightening, and she felt overwhelmed by the enormity of the task ahead. The lack of support and resources was a constant source of stress, and Maria often felt like she was failing despite her best efforts. She knew that she needed to reach out for help, but the fear of judgment and rejection held her back. The weight of responsibility was crushing her, stealing her youth and her hope. Maria felt like she was carrying the world on her shoulders, and it was taking a toll on her both physically and emotionally. She longed for a sense of normalcy, for a chance to be a teenager again, even if just for a moment. But she knew that those days were behind her. Her reality was different now, and she had to find a way to navigate it. Despite the challenges, Maria was determined to keep going. She had a fierce love for her daughter and a resilience that kept her moving forward, one step at a time. The journey ahead was daunting, but Maria's unwavering love for Anna and her newfound resilience gave her the strength to face each day with determination and hope. Maria had been so excited about graduating, college, a career, a life of her own. Then everything changed. The nausea, the doctor's visit, the fear. Her parents were nowhere in the picture of Maria's life. Support was scarce, judgment plentiful. She dropped out of school, took a dead-end job, worked until her feet ached and her back screamed. It still wasn't enough. Rent, bills, diapers, they piled up, an insurmountable mountain of despair. The church had always been a sanctuary for Maria. It was a place where she found solace in the midst of chaos, a refuge from the storms of life. Every Sunday she would sit in the pews, listening to the hymns and feeling a sense of peace wash over her. The stained glass windows depicting scenes of hope and redemption always filled her with a sense of calm. It was here that she felt closest to something greater than herself, a divine presence that seemed to whisper words of comfort and encouragement. The church was not just a building, it was a cornerstone of her existence, a place where she could reconnect with her inner self and find the strength to face another week, a place of peace and solace. The church grounds were always meticulously kept, with blooming flowers and well-trimmed hedges. The garden was a sanctuary within a sanctuary, a place where Maria could sit and reflect on her life, her choices and her future. The quiet courtyard, with its ancient stone benches and the gentle sound of a nearby fountain, was her favorite spot. Here, she could escape the noise of the world and find a moment of tranquility. The serenity of the garden allowed her to think clearly, to dream and to hope. It was a place where time seemed to stand still, offering her a brief respite from the relentless pace of life. Now it represented a different kind of hope. Maria's life had changed dramatically with the birth of her daughter Anna. The church, once a place of personal refuge, had now become a symbol of hope for her child's future. Maria looked at the church with a new sense of determination. She knew that within these walls there was a chance for a better life for her daughter, a life filled with love, support, and opportunities that Maria could not provide on her own. The church was no longer just a sanctuary for her. It was a beacon of possibility for Anna, a place where dreams could be nurtured and futures could be built. A beacon for her precious Anna. Maria held her baby close, feeling the warmth and innocence of her tiny body. She whispered promises of a brighter future, of dreams that would come true. The church stood as a beacon of hope, a place where her daughter could grow up, surrounded by a loving community. Maria envisioned Anna running through the church garden, playing with other children, and learning the values that would guide her through life. She imagined the laughter, the friendships, and the sense of belonging that Anna would experience, things that Maria had always longed for but never fully had. A chance at a life Maria knew she couldn't provide. The reality of her situation weighed heavily on her heart. As much as she loved her daughter, Maria knew that she couldn't give Anna the life she deserved. The struggles of single motherhood, the financial hardships, and the lack of a support system were overwhelming. She wanted more for her daughter, more than she could ever offer on her own. The church represented a chance for Anna to have a better life, one filled with stability and love. Maria's heart ached with the knowledge that she had to make this sacrifice, but she knew it was the only way to give Anna the future she deserved. She stood at the church steps, her heart breaking with every breath. The decision to leave Anna at the church was the hardest choice Maria had ever made. Tears streamed down her face as she kissed her baby's forehead, whispering words of love and goodbye. She knew that this was the best decision for her daughter, but it didn't make the pain any less. Every step away from the church felt like a piece of her heart was being torn away. The weight of her decision was almost unbearable, but Maria held on to the hope that this sacrifice would lead to a brighter future for Anna. This was for Anna, for a chance at a family, a future. Maria's resolve strengthened as she thought about the life she wanted for her daughter. She imagined Anna growing up in a loving home with parents who could provide for her and support her dreams. This was not just about survival, it was about giving her daughter the best possible start in life. Maria knew that this sacrifice was necessary, and she was willing to endure the heartache for the sake of her child's future. The thought of Anna thriving, surrounded by love and opportunities, gave Maria the strength to carry on. A future Maria desperately wanted to give, but couldn't. As she walked away from the church, Maria felt a mix of sorrow and hope. She looked back one last time, knowing that this was the right decision. Her heart ached, but she held on to the belief that Anna would have a better life. The church, with its promise of a brighter future, was now the guardian of her daughter's dreams. Maria walked away, her steps heavy with grief, but her spirit lifted by hope. She knew that this was the beginning of a new chapter, one where Anna's dreams could flourish, even if it meant Maria had to let go. With trembling hands, she laid Anna in the church's makeshift crib. The church, a sanctuary of solace and hope, had always been a place of refuge for Maria. She had spent countless hours here, seeking guidance and strength. Now it was the only place she could think of to leave her precious child. A place where she believed Anna would be safe and cared for. The decision had not come easily. It was a choice born out of desperation and love, a choice that tore at her very soul. Maria had no other options left. Her circumstances had become unbearable, and she knew that this was the only way to give Anna a chance at a better life. The church, with its towering spires and comforting silence, seemed like the only beacon of hope in her dark world. A note, penned with tears and love, rested beside her sleeping baby. In the note, Maria poured out her heart, explaining her circumstances and her hopes for Anna's future. She wrote about the dreams she had for her daughter, dreams that she could no longer fulfill. She asked for forgiveness and understanding, hoping that whoever found the note would see the love and sacrifice behind her actions. The note was a testament to her enduring love, a love that transcended the pain of separation. She detailed her struggles, the battles she had fought, and the reasons that led her to this heart-wrenching decision. Maria hoped that the note would be a bridge of understanding between her and the kind soul who would find Anna, a silent plea for understanding, for love. Maria's heart ached as she looked at her sleeping child, her beautiful Anna. She prayed silently, asking for strength and courage, for the ability to endure the heart-wrenching separation. She prayed for her daughter's future, for a life filled with love and opportunities. The tears streamed down her face, each one a symbol of her deep and abiding love. She hoped that one day Anna would understand the sacrifice she had made, that she would know how much she was loved. Maria's prayers were filled with wishes for Anna's happiness, for her to grow up in a world where she could thrive and be loved unconditionally. She wished for Anna to have the life she could not provide, a life free from the struggles that had plagued Maria, for a future filled with possibilities. The rising sun cast a golden glow over the church, a symbol of new beginnings and hope. Maria took a deep breath, drawing strength from the beauty of the morning. She imagined a future where Anna would grow up surrounded by love and care, where she would have the opportunities that Maria could not provide. It was this hope that gave her the strength to walk away, to leave her child in the hands of fate and faith. The morning light seemed to whisper promises of a brighter future, one where Anna would flourish and find happiness. Maria clung to this vision, letting it guide her steps as she moved away from the church. Leaving Anna was the hardest thing Maria would ever do. Each step away from the church felt like a step away from her own heart. She could feel the weight of her decision pressing down on her, the pain of separation tearing at her soul. But she knew it was the right thing to do, the only thing she could do to give her daughter a chance at a better life. She walked with her head bowed, her heart heavy with sorrow and hope. Every step was a battle against her instincts to turn back, to hold her child once more. But Maria knew that her sacrifice was the ultimate act of love, one that would pave the way for Anna's brighter future. But it was an act of love, not abandonment. Maria looked back at the church, her eyes filled with tears and determination. She wanted to remember this moment, to hold on to the image of her child safe in the crib. She wanted to carry this memory with her, to remind herself of the love that had driven her to make this painful decision. It was not abandonment, but an act of profound love and sacrifice. She hoped that one day Anna would understand this. Maria's heart was a storm of emotions, but she held on to the belief that love would one day reunite them. She wanted Anna to know that every tear, every step away, was filled with love and hope for her future. As she walked away, a silent promise echoed in the morning air. Maria made a vow to herself and to her daughter. She promised that she would find a way to be with Anna again, that she would work tirelessly to create a future where they could be together. The soft morning light bathed her in a gentle glow, a reminder that even in the darkest moments there is always hope. She walked away with a heavy heart, but also with a sense of purpose and determination. Maria's resolve was unshakable. She would face any challenge, overcome any obstacle to be reunited with her daughter. The promise she made was her guiding star, leading her through the uncertainty of the future. "I will find a way back to you, Miana, I promise." Maria's final words were a vow, a promise that she would never forget her daughter, that she would always strive to reunite with her. The path ahead was uncertain, filled with challenges and obstacles, but Maria was determined to overcome them. She walked away from the church, her heart filled with a mixture of sorrow and hope, her mind focused on the promise she had made. She knew that one day she would find her way back to Anna, and they would be together again. Maria's journey was just beginning, and with each step she carried the hope of a future reunion, a future where love would bring them back together. Maria's heart raced as she approached the familiar church steps. Years had passed, but the memory of that fateful day was still vivid. She had left Anna here, hoping for a better life for her baby. Now, with trembling hands, she pushed open the door. Inside, the church's warm glow seemed to embrace her, as if welcoming her back. The sound of children playing echoed softly in the background, a stark contrast to the silence of that morning so many years ago. As Maria's eyes scanned the room, she saw a young girl with familiar eyes looking up. The resemblance was striking. It was as if she were looking into a mirror of the past. "Anna," Maria whispered, her voice cracking with emotion, tears streaming down her face. The girl smiled, her eyes lighting up with recognition and joy. "Mom." In that moment, time stood still. The years of separation melted away, replaced by the overwhelming joy of reunion. Maria rushed forward, enveloping Anna in a tight embrace, their tears mingling as they held each other close. The church, once a place of sorrow and sacrifice, now stood as a testament to hope and love. Maria knew that they were finally home, together at last. As they stood there, wrapped in each other's arms, the future seemed bright and filled with endless possibilities. The promise Maria had made to herself and to Anna had been fulfilled. They were reunited by fate, and nothing could ever tear them apart again.